This car thus far has been a little bit slow, but I think some of those slower, more tedious things are behind us. For example, doing all the wide body stuff, rear quarters, wide body on the bumper, everything, all the things that are so tedious, I think they are knocked out, and from here on out, it's just gonna be up and up. We got a lot of painting to do, a little bit of prepping, and we gotta get working.
And now, you're watching the oh-so-brutal yet so necessary ATM upcharge fee at a strip club channel of YouTube. Welcome to Bodie Vision.
Hey, so what is up and welcome. Beautiful day over here in Orlando, Florida. I'm not gonna give a full weather forecast, but it's about 70 degrees, sunny, blue skies, looking wonderful. So what I got to do right now is I want to jam out that trunk, the underside of the trunk. I want to paint that blue, and I can't do the top side at the same time just because how they lay out. So what I want to do is start tearing some of that stuff off the trunk and then eventually wipe that down, and then we'll see what's next. What else I got to start prepping. So now that that's looking good, I want to make my way over to the water hose. I could pull the hose all the way from over there, bring it over here, but I'm not going to do that. So what I want to do is just bring my pieces. I got the side skirts, and I also got the rear lip that I want to work. So I'm going to bring that over there to the hose, scuff them down. I'm going to just use some Ajax and Ajax with bleach. So I got to go grab those, get them scuffed down. Then after I get those all cleaned and set up, I don't know why I'm walking over to the hose, I still got to get the parts. But anyways, after I clean them, we'll get them oriented to paint them. We're moving right along for once. Alrighty, so here we have it. Side skirts right there, rear lip right there. Now the thing is with the rear lip, this section, this lower section, the rear lip's hanging upside down. So that's gonna be black, this is gonna be blue, and I have to make a nice line in between here. And this lip, this is a replica lip, and I can feel it. Whenever I'm working with any of these replica parts, they're not as perfect. There's some little pinholes, let me show you right here. I don't know how well you can see it, but that's just part of it. If you're gonna buy some rep stuff, and it'll look good when we stand back, it'll be just fine. But that's just an example of why rep versus non-rep. But for the price, whatever, I'm all good with it. So anyways, like I said a minute ago, what I went ahead and I used was just Ajax with bleach, that powder. Then I used a scuff pad. I've used like scuff stuff before, other products, but I've actually found the best thing that I've used is just that Ajax. It's real nice and gritty, and I just go over it all completely. And actually I did film a clip, I'm just gonna show you that right here. If you can see on one side, the water is not beating up at all, and then we move over to the other side, and you can just see how it's beating up like crazy. So as we're prepping these plastic parts, we gotta get all of that release agent off of there. That is so important, because if that release agent is still on there, or in other words, if the water is still beating, as soon as that sealer hits it, or primer, or whatever you're spraying, base coat, whatever you're spraying, is just going to get rejected from that surface. So you got to make sure all of that release agent is off of there before you move on. So now it's time to move on. What I'm going to do, like I just said, black on the one section, blue on the other section. These are going to go blue. The fenders, I want to jam them out in here, so I want them to look kind of like how the car looks, where we're going to see blue overlaying. And then the fenders are going to go back on the car, and then we're going to do those with the car. But I want to make sure all those little edges are done before I put the car back together, and that's just part of it with the color change. So speaking of color change, let's make that happen. So I was just laying down the sealer, and my dream came true. The best thing that I could ever want to happen happened. I spent hours prepping these. I showed you guys the clips. The water wasn't beating up at all. Sometimes people kind of ramp it up for the YouTube, or they over dramatize. They make it a little bit over dramatic. Just look at this, man. So the side skirt, that looks all right. Everything looks okay. Then once we get down here, just complete garbage. So that sucks. Happened over here too. All those little pinholes that came popping up. And what I did is I introduced the sealer to it very lightly. I just did a very light coat at first, so that way that can kind of act kind of as like an introduction coat. It's here too, man. This is the worst. This is the worst thing that I spent hours and hours and hours working it, sitting in the sun. I mean, I'm not gonna give you a sob story, but the entire time I'm working it this morning, I'm just thinking to myself, put in the extra time now, because we don't want this to happen, because this is really the worst case scenario. So I put in that extra time, and it happened anyways. I think the only thing to do, I just gotta strip it down, and then it comes to the point of, let's say I strip it down, right? And then let's say this happens again, then what? So it is the next day now. This is about 10 hours later from the last clip. 10 hours more of work. Well, I wasn't working the whole time, but this is quite a bit longer. You know, the next day I finished up like, I don't know, 4 hours at the end of yesterday. I've already been working on it here for 6 or so. Sanded that all the way down. And one of these, I actually had to get out of here. So the sealer on this one was still pretty wet, so that was easy to come off. This one, I just sanded it down, and I especially sanded it down in the areas that it was messed up. That one wasn't as messed up as the other ones for some reason. Now, I don't know what caused this, and everything that I showed you, I want you to understand that it did even more than that. I wiped it down with the plastic prep wipe before I even sprayed it. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes for me to actually make sure I'm doing this stuff right. And this is on, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. This one just didn't turn out for me. So hopefully it's good. What I'm gonna do now, since it's all kinds of messed up and all kinds of weird, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna prime them. I'm just gonna lightly mist primer over it, and then I'll do another coat right after that, and hopefully I can build up some of that high build primer, because now the surface is pretty messed up since I stripped it down. There's a lot of weird spots, and it's just overall not a good time. Honestly, I just thought about buying another lip because my time is money, and I thought it might have been cheaper to just buy one, but let me see. I don't know. So here we go, yet another day. All of this stuff, I was hoping to be done with it all by Tuesday, and here it is Thursday, so I lost 2 days and then some because of I don't know, whatever. But here's how it is, and how it's changed from what I showed you last is I went ahead and I did the primer like you just saw in that last clip, and then I sanded that down with a 600 just to make it nice and smooth. Now I gotta go ahead and seal this just so that way I can get it caught back up to where we were with the inside of the trunk and then the inside of the fenders. So we are definitely getting there. The most challenging part about this whole entire process of doing this a different color is I got to do a lot of waiting. I got to do sealer, and then I got to wait at least 30 minutes to an hour or so until it's dry enough, and then mask off the lower area, and then I did the black obviously, and then I had to wait until the black dried. So I'm just kind of staring at the clock, waiting for time to go by until I can mask that off. And it is kind of scary to put tape right on top of fresh paint, but I've done it before, it's all good. So now is what I've been waiting for. Like I said at the beginning of the video, hopefully everything's on the up and up from here on out. Or maybe I should have learned at the beginning that saying that just jinxed this entire video. Hopefully not. Time to spray. Beginning of this video to how I feel now, I mean, I was honestly feeling pretty discouraged. I felt like nothing was going right on this project. It really pissed me off what happened. I spent a whole bunch of time on it, and then for it to kind of just, it's kind of like a slap in the face. I spent all these hours, and then it doesn't matter. That's all behind us. We're moving on. So it feels nice to go home. It's at the end of the day. It's already dark out, but this was my goal for Tuesday, and here it is Thursday. But either way, it is all done now. What we have coming up and what we have to look forward to is the entire car sitting over there. I wanted to get the fender jammed out so that way I can put the fender on and we can make sure that little inside area, make sure this area is blue and painted because the details add up and the details matter. And also, speaking of details, I think this is really nice how that's black in there and blue, and that's actually the owner wanted me to do that. I didn't know how it should have been, and I think that looks really good. So shout out to the owner for having me do that, because I think it looks good and it makes my work look good when the owner picks things that are good for me to do. So anyways, let me know if you guys are going to be out at Simply Clean tomorrow by the time I post this. I don't know the exact date for Simply Clean, but it's been talked about and shared on Instagram all the time. So if you're going out there and you see me, make sure you say what's up. I'll have some stickers for you. I'll just bring a handful, and if you come say what's up, I'll give you a sticker. If you just want to come say what's up, chat, we can do that as well. I'll be out there with the girls, so if you see me pushing a stroller, come say what's up. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video, comment, subscribe. The entire car is on the way. Sorry if it's been a little bit slow, but from here on out, what happened last time I said that? I'm out.